Hello there, it is so nice to see you. If you're new here, my name is Marta. I am an aspiring author currently working on a cozy middle grade witchy book called Project Voice. It is super self-indulgent, super fun, and I am having an absolute fantastic time with it. It is all still very early stages, and in this video over the next few days I want to work on developing some of my characters. I have 4 little witch student girls and 1 teacher character that are all important, and all of these have existing character profiles, but they're in various states of being unfinished. Only my main character has what I wouldn't call character art, but a character sketch, and really none of them have character arcs, which is the main thing that I'm missing. I have a very rough idea of who these characters are at the start of the book, but I'm not really sure on what their theme is, how they're going to develop, what's going to change. None of them really have backstories other than my main character, and they just need a whole bunch of work, a whole bunch of brainstorming, and I'm so excited to get into it really. I literally finished setting this up yesterday, which you will have seen in my last video if you watched that. If you haven't watched that, why not? But I am so ready to actually start using this, not just for decorating and crafting and making pretty spreads, but to actually get in there and do some brainstorming and get into the nitty-gritty of it. We're gonna be doing some mind maps, we're gonna be figuring out who these people are, and it's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited to finally get in here and do more than just set up a couple of pretty spreads, do some actual brainstorming, and use this notebook the way that it was intended to be used. So I've been brainstorming for just under 2 hours and I am nowhere close to done. There is so much work left to do. I'm only really on Olympia. I haven't even touched any of my side characters yet, but turns out I had even less of an idea of what her arc was than I thought I did. We have made some progress. I got a little bit stuck, so I pulled up my copy of Creating Character Arcs, and I've just been reading through it loosely and taking some notes, not on the book, but like notes on answering some of the questions and like figuring out how it relates to the current project that I'm working on, and just sort of trying to work from this like very skeleton-esque story that I have that has really just the bare minimum on it, and try and find a character arc that sort of matches that and that is going to go well with this character and with this world and with the vibes that I have set up for the story. And I think I found something that works. I'm a little bit concerned that it's not quite going to fit into this sort of cozy friendship found family vibes that I had in mind, because some of her shard of glass, as Creating Character Arcs calls it, is going to make it harder for her to make friends because she doesn't believe she is worthy of friendship. I might change my mind about that one because I did really want to have some very strong friendships in this book, and I think I still will. It's just going to take her a little bit of time to make those friendships, but I want to spend a bit more time brainstorming that out and trying to figure out how everything is going to work, and just her character arc past the first few chapters would be good as well. But for now I want to do something a little bit different, and that is character art. For my previous book, Project Side, I didn't do any character art until literally draft 3 or 4, and honestly it really shows. Character description is not something that comes naturally to me, and it's even harder when I don't know what my characters look like. Even now, multiple drafts later, like a lot of characters in that book are missing character descriptions, or they have inconsistent character descriptions. And I feel like it's just so much easier to describe characters from draft 1 if I know what they look like. It feels a lot less forced if I'm sort of... If I can visualize something, I'm not going to have trouble describing it, but if I can't and I do it as an afterthought, it's going to be a lot harder to do. So I really want to make sure that I have not necessarily character art for all my characters, but a clear idea of what my characters look like and some character art for the important characters. So I showed you my project journal earlier. I have 2 notebooks for project voice. My previous journal is a journal, effectively. It is for brainstorming, it is for research, inspiration, it is for tracking and anything else that I want to put in there. And this is what I call my visual development project sketchbook. This is entirely for art, whereas my other book is entirely for writing. And this is effectively for brainstorming the visuals of the book. And I have some existing art for my main character. And again, I wouldn't call this art, it is very much a sketch, but this is what I last drew when I was working on this book. This was from quite a long time ago. And actually I highlighted the bottom one because I think that's the one I was going to go for. I think I like the top left one better now. So I think I'm gonna use this as a starting point, but subject to change, because I'm not entirely sure I still want to stick to this. I'm definitely keeping the earmuffs. That's a very important part of a character. It's important to the plot as well, as you will not see because I'm not spoiling this. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start from this. I don't think I'm gonna do any doodling in here. I think I'm gonna go straight to the drawing tablet and make something digital pretty much straight away. But we're gonna use this as a starting point, and I'm going to try and make some character art for Olympia.
Godspeed, we travel with hope in our mind. Lose rain, the sky and the wind are only guide. Wild sea, we are all strangers to this land, and no
Hello there, it has been literally 2 weeks since my last update. Last weekend I had a really bad skin breakout and just did not really feel like being in front of the camera. And I did actually do some art, and I decided not to record that either, like even as a screen recording. And honestly, it was so nice. I don't think I noticed just how much pressure I put on myself when I'm recording my screen while drawing. Because most of the time when I'm sketching out something in my sketchbook, like that's just for me and it's completely fine. A lot of the digital art that I do, I end up using for videos because it tends to be book related, and then I'm always filming it, and it's very rare for me to do digital art that I'm not filming. And that was just so nice. It was so chill. I had a really nice weekend, and I am very glad that I decided not to film anything. But it is 2 weeks later, and I have a lot to update you on. Starting with this, I've been doing a little bit more brainstorming. You can see I've increased the number of little tabs on my project journal. I absolutely adore the color-coded washi tape tabs. I am so happy. But I started a new section for a little bit of like researchy note-taking. I've been watching Hardwell's, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Enneagram? Something along those lines. I should know how to pronounce it, seeing how I keep watching these videos, but I do not. But I've just been finding that super interesting. I was a little bit stuck on my main character, Olympia. I sort of kept going a little bit after we last spoke, but I got to a point where I just wasn't sure what else to do for her. She didn't really feel like a full breathing complete character to me. She didn't feel anywhere close to done, but I didn't know where else to go. I didn't really know what else to look into. And I stumbled upon the series. I had seen some of it before, but I've never done like the whole playlist, sort of like one thing after the other. And I'm having a great time with it. I'm just slowly watching them and taking notes, as opposed to just like casually consuming them like I've done in the past. And it's just been really interesting to learn about all of these different problems that characters can have and like look at it from a storytelling perspective. And I think it's a really well put together series. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend. I will leave a link in the description. I've just been sort of thinking about how I can apply it to some of my characters. I'm sort of in the background also thinking about some of my project side characters, because some of them really fit into this model as well, but I'm trying to focus on project voice characters because that's what we're working on right now. But yeah, I've been sort of doing that Monday to Friday a lot, and then on the weekends I've been going back to my character art and my brainstorming, which takes a little bit more of a heavier mental load. And as I said, Olympia's a little bit on hold because I got a bit stuck with her, but I've been working on some of my side characters a bit more. And with Olympia, I was surprised when I went back to this project about how little information I had on her. That was not the case for my side characters. I was actually surprised by how much information I had about my side characters, which is a really pleasant surprise. I think if they were POV characters, I still wouldn't have enough, but for the amount of page time that they get, I have more than enough to write them for most of them. Some of them need a little bit more. So I've been developing them like a little bit and making some tweaks, but they really didn't need that much work. And so for the most part, I've been working on their character art, which has been super fun. So you will have seen Olympia already, because this is the one that I actually filmed. I want to go back and fix her little like ear muffler line on the top, because it just looks a little bit odd. But other than that, I think I'm fairly happy with her design. I don't know, I feel like when I was doing the other two characters, like my line art skills got slightly better, so I am tempted to go back to this, but for now, this is good enough. And then last weekend, I also worked on Hazel's character art, just the line art, and Morgan's character art. And I haven't colored either of them. At the time, my thought process was that I was really enjoying doing the line art, and coloring would be much easier to do Monday to Friday. Predictably, I had no energy to do any coloring Monday to Friday. I've been doing my research stuff instead. I feel like the amount of friction from just setting up my drawing tablet, entering the program, making sure everything's working and like my pen's all right and like everything's good, just for the amount of evening time and evening energy that I get, just does not feel worth it, and then I have to tidy it up again afterwards. In comparison, just grabbing my notebook from the shelf, opening a YouTube video and taking some notes feels a lot more manageable for after an entire workday. But now it's the weekend again, and I wanna at the very least finish coloring those two characters. I have two more characters that I have no art for yet. I have Ember, and I think I've decided that I want her to have really curly, like bright red hair because she controls fire, and I think that's gonna look really cool and really fun. I'm really excited for her, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to her today because it's 4:30. I had some social plans this morning. I didn't just roll out of bed, I promise. And then other than Ember, I have the teacher character. I think I've previously called her Mr. Mary, but I'm thinking about changing her name. I also have done 0 brainstorming for her this week. She's like my least developed character. But I also don't think she needs that much development, because when I read back the like existing couple of chapters that I had last time round, she just feels like a mentor character with just enough personality to be interesting, but she's not gonna develop, she's just sort of there. And maybe that is all I need to be able to write a book. I would like to know what she looks like. I currently do not know what she looks like, but I don't think I'm going to draw her, at least today, and I don't think I'm gonna get to Ember either. I actually really just want to like wrap up this vlog today because I am turning 30 next week, and I really want to do like a week in my life vlog during that, and just work on some other things. I have a lot of exciting things planned for next week, and I want to bring you along on a more sort of lifestyle with some writing vlog as opposed to just like a character brainstorming heavy video. So this is probably the last that you're gonna be seeing of me in this video, but I'm gonna be finishing up that coloring and I'm gonna be bringing you along for that this time, and I'm so excited. I really like how the line work turned out, and I cannot wait to see this in color. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you're having a wonderful week and wonderful time working on your book or your other projects or just life in general, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.